Okay, everybody, so this is now my spoiler review of The Witcher Season 2. If you haven't watched the season, you can watch my spoiler-free review that is also out, which is also linked below, so check that out first, and then come back to this review when you've watched the whole season. I'm going to be talking about the whole season, so make sure you've watched every episode before you watch this. So let's jump into this. As you could have seen from my spoiler-free review, I had only seen the first 6 episodes, which the only episodes of press were given early, and I had given it a 9.1 based off that, so I was interested to see adding these last 2 episodes that I watched today on release day, where it would bring the score officially. And I would have to say it would just bring it down a nudge to a 9, and it's interesting, you know, running off of what I said again in my spoiler-free review, I am in the boat, what a lot of people are saying I'm seeing and agree with is that I really do think Episode 1 was the best episode. I thought it was really well done. Now, going into that, I love the pure body horror that was in this. I love the Bruxa as the villain, and she was terrifying, right? And I love this because we only got a little bit of horror in Season 1, and this season it really ramped it up. And I love that it was a linear storyline this season. My biggest complaint with Season 1 was how confusing it was. It wasn't even something, if you watched twice, it made a lot of sense. It was just too much. And to go the complete opposite route of going just linear, I thought was the smart decision. I thought it worked better for a story like this, and it kept the momentum going. Now, where I'm seeing a lot of disappointment from fans is in Yennefer's storyline. But what I have to say is that I actually like what they did with her story. I think it made sense because I think if they didn't, they might have run into, in this case, in this specific story, the Superman problem where she's too powerful. I mean, we ended Season 1 where she basically had this huge burst of power happen, and I feel like they might have ran into issues in this story that if she was to meet up with Geralt and Ciri in the situations they were in, that she would have been able to solve a lot of these moments and get them out of them too easily. So I thought it made sense she lost her powers and had to fight through that. Where I did think it got sloppy is we didn't really get a resolution well about her wanting a child again. I thought that was kind of glossed over and then pushed aside for wanting her power back. So it was strange, though, that she did want, 2 things back, and that one kind of got pushed aside for the other with the wanting magic. But I think that I see it as Season 1 was really the Yennefer show, and I was one of those people in that boat that wanted more of Geralt and, wanted not maybe more of Ciri, but to get them together here, that they are here, they need to take the center stage, and I like they did in Season 2, and that a lot of screen time was given to the 2 of them, maybe with Yennefer and Jaskier kind of being pushed to the side a bit, but that was totally fine with me again, because at the end of the day, the heart of the story right here is Geralt and Ciri. Now, what was exciting, too, going through the season was that there was just more monsters. There was more fighting with monsters here. It was less talky, and it was more action. And I think, again, that works for a show like this. Especially a lot of people like me know it from playing the video games. I haven't read the books. So that's another point I want to make where what I loved about this season, I think for video game players, it was awesome. It looked a lot like the video games. There was a lot of Easter eggs to it. And I think that what I'm seeing is a reaction that it's very similar to when I covered The Wheel of Time, another show that's based off a book, and there's just a lot of negativity towards this season, which I'm shocked, but it's actually really coming from book readers, and they hate it. And, I haven't read the book, so I have no say on that, but I do know that what's frustrating is they'll get one thing that isn't exactly the same as the book, and they flip out, and then they hate all of it, and I think it's different if you're making an argument of, like, this just doesn't work as a show, or this isn't good, but to be mad that it's different can be frustrating. I get you want to see what you loved and what you read exactly the same on screen, but it's just not how it works with writing a show, and they have to make it different. It's a different medium. It's different decisions. Like, it's hard for me to see people so mad about a character, of Eskel being just killed. Who really cares? I played the game twice. I still don't remember his character, so I'm not that attached. I'm attached maybe when I'm playing the game, but when I watch the show, I'm opening my mind to different possibilities. I'm not sitting there going, I need to see what I saw in the game. Now, maybe where I can relate to, okay, I'd be more actually annoyed that my favorite thing from the game, if you've played the game, it's not really a spoiler, but there is a really awesome villain trio here, Ladies of the Wood, and I have a feeling they just merged into this created character of the Deathless Mother, which is to me a weird choice because of how good those villains are from the game. I hope we'll still see them, but it is interesting the similarities about eating children and stuff like that, so I hope they didn't just kind of decide to do a lazier route of doing the Deathless Mother instead, which is a strange decision to make. So maybe I'll take back some of what I said. Yeah, but again, a character like Eskel, come on. But look, you see the changes they made. I thought they really fixed a lot of stuff from Season 1 that wasn't great. You know, just as simple as Triss having red hair changed everything. It changed everything for the character, and it really showed also how good that actress is, because I think everyone was so distracted by her looking completely different from the Triss we know. So that's an example of going too far with it, right? But they did such a good job at handling Ciri wanting to be a Witcher, the consequences of that, and also her letting go of her family of the past and embracing her new family, and Yennefer making up for the mistakes she makes through this season, that she is more flawed here, and it's highlighted more, and that she comes to realization by the end. I think that wrapped up well. However, I will say the disappointment of the finale is that I did think the main scene came off a little silly, the main battle at the end, and I do think it didn't really hit so hard emotionally as it should have with Yennefer and Ciri and Geralt, where it was in the beginning with Geralt and Ciri in particular. And I thought, you know, certain things were a little cheated and silly and corny, like Yen got her powers back by doing what she did, and it wasn't totally clear how exactly that made all that much sense. She just got him back from, you know, doing the right thing and taking on this demon witch and then getting out of her, but now she has her magic. So that felt lazy, and it didn't hit everywhere, but I do think the beginning of the season was the best. I think the first 3 episodes were the best, and maybe I'll say episode 5 as well was really good. But, you know, I didn't really like episode 4, if you can remember, where that's when Jaskier first comes in, and it's a lot of Yennefer in the sewers, and yet her with Jaskier as well, and it kind of felt like season 1 to me a lot, where there's a lot of plotting and talking, and not all that interesting. And I can see also the arguments, too, where, like, some of the stuff with Fringilla, just in general with the elves, isn't as interesting, and it needs to be more interesting for sure. But I don't think it took too much screen time, so it didn't hamper, like, so much to me, like season 1 where I was like, where's The Witcher? We're watching The Witcher. Like, I didn't feel that this season, so I think that was a great decision. So that's why I wasn't so bothered about maybe, you know, the C storylines not being as solid, but that's kind of typical with this show. And I mean, there's crazy stuff throughout, just with gore here, especially when Fringilla has this big moment. I mean, stabbing that guy's eye was insane, and then even that same episode, Ciri's eyes bleeding red, I wasn't expecting. I thought that was crazy, and it was really cool, and I thought that this season was more confident, and it wasn't afraid to go there with stuff like that. And it's nice they teased the Wild Hunt. I like they didn't blow their load here by using all the stuff that's so popular from the Witcher lore, and just teasing it and saving it for next season, and doing a nice reveal with Amir being Ciri's dad at the end to get you excited for the next season. So I'm giving this whole season a 9. I think it's way better than season 1, which was what I was looking for it to be. I think it just improved everywhere. It looked better, it was bigger budget, and I think people like me who've just maybe played the game or haven't played the game at all will love this. And I think it's such an enjoyable show, and you got to just watch it as a show, you know, and not worry so much of what it's based off of, because I think book readers are being way too hard on it right now. But this is what a lot of book readers do in shows. Look, I've been on the other side of it. I reviewed that show, The Outsider. I read the book right before, and it made me hate the show. But everyone was telling me it was a great show. I believe you. You know, I think there is a weird thing that happens when you read a book and you watch an adaptation. It's so hard for that to mesh, for you to like both. It's just this weird thing, and maybe that only landed in movies like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, but otherwise it's really hard to do, where you can just enjoy it as it is. And it's easier for me to say that because I haven't read the book, so I try not to actually read the books before. I try to read them after for that reason, because books are always better at the end of the day, right? Like, there's so much more detail you can go on people's thoughts. It's totally different. But this is a visual medium. This is a different process. It's a different writing process. They're trying to do something different too. So I thought most of it worked here. And again, I thought the pace was really good. And I still will stand by. I think Freya Allan was the standout this season and really stole the show with her acting abilities. And I'm excited to see her, what she can bring for Ciri as the show goes on. And I'm excited for season 3. So let me know what you thought of it down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I read every comment and try to respond to as many as I can. Please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss one of my reviews. I'm doing the Wheel of Time right now. I'm doing Dexter. I'm also jumping into Yellow Jacket soon. I also do movie reviews, and I also do celebrity interviews. I got 2 Witcher interviews coming out later in the week, so you're going to want to see those. I won't spoil who I'm actually talking to, but it is 2 actors from the show, so I'm excited for that. And please follow me at Steve Varley Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok for more of me, and I'll see you next time.